Good morning, everybody.
Where's my? Couple of us.
Hi.
Good morning, Lindsay.
How are
Good
you?
morning, David. Good morning, Lindsay. Good morning, Sharon, Jerry, Martha.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. Just getting this set up on Facebook. Hopefully we get some more people. We may have to change the day again too. I know it's starting to get warmer and people don't want to work like this.
Where is it getting? Oh, sorry.
Is it actually Earth Day?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Martha.
Okay, well, I'm on my phone, which I don't use. Oh, here, I found the mute. I wanted to mute myself. Thank you.
All right. It's warm where I am right now, Peggy. It's going to get to 19.
It's supposed to get warm for the next couple of days and then go back down to colder, which is an
Yeah.
awful shock after you've had warm.
Exactly. We had snow last week, which I was so disappointed about because it was getting so warm before then.
When we get snow right now, it really makes this dirty snow that's already there look nice and clean again for a few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, that was beautiful pictures of you on your Facebook page.
Oh, thank
They
you.
were gorgeous. You're just such a gorgeous woman anyways.
Oh, thanks, Peggy. I appreciate that. I know
You don't feel gorgeous, I know.
I'm starting to feel quite a bit better. I'm still sick, but it's way more manageable. They gave me some additional medication. And so it like helps you digest your food faster. So you, like hopefully keep more down. And so I felt like I have so much more energy because I feel like I'm actually like getting more nutrients and some substance. So
So when are you technically due?
July 31st is my due date.
So you're getting into the uncomfortable stage pretty soon.
Yes, it's just in the last week that I haven't been able to like really bend over. Like I've been able to still like pick things up off the ground and like, do things fairly easily. But even rolling over in bed, I like grab onto Derek's arm and like hoist myself over. And I'm like, oh no, here we are.
The bump.
Yes.
I always called the baby the bump. My mother-in-law was horrified.
Oh, I love that. That's what I call it too. I started taking Aquafit too because it's just so much easier on my body because everything that I was doing to exercise was like killing me. So doing some water stuff, and he normally sleeps during it, but last night I took a class and he kicked the whole time. So it was such weird sensations to like try to be working out in the water and getting like jabbed in the
in the ribs.
Yeah, exactly. Well, happy Saturday to all of you that are here, those of you that are joining us on Facebook. So today, what we're going to do is I wanted to kind of take it back a few steps just to kind of look at Instagram and Facebook and the features that they have and like when should we be using these? Why should we be using these? I did a training this week actually for another company, and it was a question that came up and I was like, this is a really good opportunity, I think, to bring this and talk about this because we were talking about the difference between, and I know that I've mentioned this before, but I'm going to repeat again, the different ways that we can use social media and the different purposes for it. I think one thing to remember always is that social media is a tool, right? It's not in and of itself a strategy. We can use the platform however we want to in a variety of different ways. And I'd say like the three main ways that we can use social media for our business is number one, for sales, right? We can be intentional online with what we're doing to actually generate leads and sales. And I would say that I am much more of a sales oriented trainer in the sense of my goal is like, at the end of the day, it's like, great, like your Facebook Live got a lot of views. I'm excited, but like, how many leads did you get? How many people did you close? Those are always going to be my follow-up questions. So we can use it to sell, right? And that doesn't mean that using social media for a sales strategy is going to be for everybody. It's important that we do learn to work our business in multiple ways. Not only so that we can have multiple streams of income, but that we can also like lean on other ones when, you know, different things happen. You know, you may have had more of a belly to belly business prior to the pandemic. But if you know that you know how to work your business in multiple ways, you can transition and go, okay, great. Like I'm going to do more online right now. So we have like the sales stream that we can use on social. It's like, how do I actually close people? And so why we're going to talk about these things today is because I want you to know, well, where do I close those people? Where does the selling actually happen? The second reason that we use social media is to market. So from a more of a marketing perspective. So sales and marketing are two different things. You can even see, you know, even in Manatech and corporate, there's a sales, right, team, and there's a marketing team. There's two totally different departments, because even though they may seem similar and they work together in tandem to reach the same goal, they're totally different things. And so within the marketing way that we can use social media, and we'll talk about where do I market, where is that time going to be spent? Because what I've found is in talking to more and more people is that some of the areas where marketing is happening, we assume that sales are happening. And then when they're not, we're like, well, this isn't working, without understanding, but where should the sale actually happen? So we have that marketing stream as well. So regardless if you want to sell online or not, at least knowing how to market yourself online is incredibly important and a non-negotiable, because you don't, especially in this fast-paced world where we are, you know, constantly being pulled in different directions, we are exposed to more and more businesses, more and more products. We don't want to wait for the next time we see somebody, like maybe 20 years ago when we used to do this. You could see someone a few times at a networking event, and each time you talk to them, you were warming that lead up to close them. It has to happen so much quicker now, because you can't wait for the next networking event, because I promise you that next time that person shows up, they would have already signed with somebody else. They would have already gone a different direction. They already would have started a new venture. And so to be able to be front of mind in people's faces, so they know that the opportunity is there, which leads into the third reason that we use social media, which is to communicate. It's just a communication tool, right? Just like we use the phone and email and texting, a lot of people communicate. I have a group chat with my sister and my mom, for example, on Facebook, and we communicate almost exclusively through Facebook. We don't text each other. We only call each other if it's important, but we use social media platforms. My mother-in-law calls me using Facebook because it's free to use. You just need data or Wi-Fi. And so she has a very limited phone plan. And so she uses Facebook when she's on Wi-Fi to call me instead of paying additional money every month for minutes for a phone. And so it's important to recognize that there's so many people out there that prefer this mode of communication. And when we think about our business, of course, we want to work our business in the way that feels comfortable for us. It's what's going to make us the most consistent. But we have to make sure we are also doing business and communicating with our customers in the way that they want to be communicated with, because it can make all the difference. I know for myself personally, and you may have a different opinion, which is fine. I know for myself personally, if somebody that was, you know, courting me for the opportunity, or I was doing business with in terms of even just being a customer, if they called me every single month, that is somebody that I probably wouldn't continue to talk to, because I just don't answer the phone. I don't like being on the phone. But if I, as a business owner, had somebody that preferred to be called, which I have many people that way, guess what I do? Put on my big girl pants and I call them. Because at the end of the day, it's about the experience that they're having. And so there's going to be times where you may be like, I just prefer to pick up the phone. I find it a lot better. I find that like the conversation goes quicker. That's great. But for a lot of people, that can come after trust is built. I'll talk to you on the phone if we have trust and likability. If you're somebody that I want to give that time to, right? And so we sometimes have to start somewhere. So there's those three areas, right? So we have sales, marketing, and communicating. The three different ways we can approach social media. And even though we can utilize any or all of those, there's specific features on Facebook and specific features on Instagram that are more conducive to one or the other of those three. There's not really many that hit all three successfully. And that's why I want to talk about this today. So I'm going to pull up a diagram right now, which is fantastic. I did not create it. Brock Johnson created it. And I was like, this is like the perfect summary, I would say, of what I want to cover. So let me just go ahead and share my screen here. Here we go. And I'll post this too as a graphic if you guys want into the group, just so you can just see the graphic. And so we're going to kind of break this down, and then we're going to talk about it because it is very similar. He focuses just on Instagram, but it is very similar for Facebook. And so we'll talk about it in that way as well. So like I mentioned, if we think about, there's three different things, three different reasons why I can or how I can use social media. We're going to talk about which features best support those. But before we get into that, I want to hear from you guys in the chat. Which of those three, marketing, sales, or communication, most you feel like you want to use most for social media? Like, what's your main reason for using it? Your answer can also be all three, right? Like my answer would be absolutely all three. But I want to hear from you guys in the chat. What are you most interested in? Marketing from Mary Jo. Waiting for everyone else's. I'm going to pull up the Facebook too on my phone so I can see. Let me see, you guys. Marketing and comm, marketing, a bit of all three, marketing and comm, all three. And comm, awesome. Okay. So what I love too is what you'll see is that still the sales portion is going to happen more in a traditional way, even though we're using social media, which is why I always really love to preface it with, this is a tool. Social media is not in and of itself an entirely different strategy. It's a tool, and we can use strategies there. So let's first talk about the feed. So we're going to go over to this. I don't know if you guys can see the blue. Can you guys see the blue dot when I move it around?
Yes.
Awesome. Great, great, great. That makes it easier. So we're going to start here. I'm going to leave my little blue dot there for a moment. So we're going to start on the feed. If you're not familiar with what a feed means, on Instagram, it is your the post that you put up, right? So whether it is, if you're looking at your own Instagram account and you see all of the posts that you've made, that is called your feed. Okay. A feed is also on Instagram what you scroll through to see other people's posts. But it's kind of this like permanent, obviously, you know, we can always delete, but it's this like permanent place where we can post content. We have one on our personal Instagram, and then we can scroll through other people's. On Facebook, same thing. Anything that you post to your page, so whether it's your personal page or your business page, that is called your feed. Your feed is also the news feed, right? Are we all familiar with the news feed? That's when you first get into Facebook and it's on that home screen, and you can scroll and look at what other people have posted. They're posting it to their feeds, right? So then you're able to see people's that you follow. So that's what a feed is, if you're not, you know, super familiar with the terminology. I know we all know the places, but sometimes understanding like the language, we may not necessarily know that. And so what is the feed for? It's to provide value and attract followers, first and foremost. That's its main reason. Okay. Instagram is actually very, very similar to Facebook. Very similar. You post things in very similar ways. They've created a lot of the same sort of experiences on both. I know you're shaking your head no, Peggy, but it is.
No, the problem I have is if I'm using my iPhone, I cannot know, I can't figure out how to post anything as opposed to iPad and my PC. They don't all agree. So that's where I get problems, but that's another.
Yeah. And it's funny. I said this the other day in a training is like, you have to be confident and brave enough to click a button, like to just try, right? Like even as a trainer, I only know because I just click the buttons and see like, what do they do? Because they're constantly moving things around, but it's very similar in the experience and the language that they use. There's that feed option where we can create our own space and then we can look at other people's. And so the feed is to provide that value and attract followers. So of marketing, sales, and communication, before we get into talking about that, which one does that sound most like? Put it in the chat. Does that sound more like marketing, more like sales, more like communication?
Okay. Sure.
Provide value and attract followers. Put that in the chat. It's okay if you're wrong. You're not going to get a fail, but I want to see us participating. Okay, so we have so far like 50-50 between comm and marketing. I want to see more people's. There's more of you on this call, so make sure you're dropping those in there. And those of you that are on Facebook as well, I see you. So I would say the main one that this is marketing.
Okay.
Yeah, is to market. So providing that value and creating that attraction, right? We're creating interest. What we post content wise is going to be to market and to pique somebody's desire to go, I am interested more about this. Now, marketing can lead, of course, to communication. Marketing can lead to sales, right? Because let's say, for example, I post something that provides value and I am, trying to create some interest around a product or an opportunity. And let's say Mary Jo goes and comments on that post. Now I can transition into using comments or privately messaging Mary Jo to create communication between the two of us, which can create a sales conversation, right? But what we do on the feed is always going to be first and for marketing. And why I think that's important to know is that if we know that it's to market and pique desire, let's say, how many of you have ever driven down the highway and seen a billboard, right? You see the billboards on the side of the road and you're driving. How many of you have ever watched television and seen a commercial, right? Watching the commercial or seeing the billboard as you are driving is marketing. And of course, we all know that. We're like, duh, Lindsay. However, companies know that there's additional steps that they take for sales, right? They know that like looking at a billboard, suddenly the credit card in that person's wallet, in their purse, in the car is not going to get charged just by looking at that billboard. Just like watching television is not going to make you perhaps in that exact moment create a transaction. And you can't create that transaction just by watching the video. You'd have to what? Take an additional step, whether it's call the phone number, go online, get in your car and drive to the store. But what I see on social media is that people post something that is marketing to their feed, and then they go, I've done my job for the day, and they go do something else. And when you come back and you go, well, no one bought, no one messaged me, no one did anything, it must not be working. I didn't get a single sale from this post. But it's the actions that you have to take after that actually create the sale. So most people think are you guys following what I'm trying to say? Most people think their social media efforts are failing them on the sales front because what they're really doing is marketing, but they're not creating the journey for the next step. Right? If you watch a commercial and it's like, oh, I always see even though I don't watch a lot of TV, and if I do, I normally watch like Netflix or something like Disney Plus. But when I always see that copper pot commercial. I don't know what it is. Every time I turn the TV on, I always see the copper pots. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that sort of longer, it's like an infomercial. And it's like, call now, right? It has the call to action because they know that you watching this is only going to pique your interest because I'm marketing to you. I have to deliver the next step in order for you to actually be able to make a purchase, which means you need to have a system set in place or you need to have a call to action on your post. But how many times have we posted something about a product and we think we're so excited about this and this product is amazing and I listed the benefits and nobody said anything? Oh, I failed. Social media doesn't work. It's like you only started the marketing process. You completely ignored the next steps, which would be to get into communication to create a sale. So the content that we post, majority of the time, will be to market, to provide value, especially on Instagram, because on Instagram, it's a photo or video platform, right? And so we're on Facebook, you can also do just text statuses, right? You can just ask a question just with text, no photo, no nothing. That can create some conversation, right? If I just ask a question, that could definitely be communication. However, it's still done with the intent of what? Creating a marketing process. I'm asking what interests you more, gut health or immunity? Because I'm trying to create conversation so that I get information to better market now. It's like, oh, wow, pretty much everyone said they're more interested in immunity right now. I'm going to focus more on immunity when it comes to what value I provide and what I talk about. And now I can use those comments to follow up with people. So there's the feed. So that is about marketing, okay? Providing the value, teaching. And now remember, we talked about this a few weeks ago. Stories, personal stories sell better and market better than abstract facts. And we talked about in your marketing, you have to show more of what? Your face. You have to show up more often. I talked about this, I think it was 2 weeks ago. And then this was also in the webinar that I had done with Ben 2 months ago, I believe it was, or last month, whenever the last one we did together was. And it's 92%, write that down, 92% of people trust an individual giving them a recommendation. Then they trust a brand or a branded advertisement. So 92% of people are more likely to trust and listen to you if you hop on a video or do a Facebook Live or share how you're using a product versus just using a stock image of a container of, a supplement and, or posting Mighty Bears and just all the benefits and hoping for the best. I rather you tell me that one of your customers tried every child's multivitamin on the market and their kids hated every single one until they tried Mighty Bears. What's going to sell me more? Because you're telling me about a problem that I may have. A few weeks ago, I also said the best marketing is in response to a conversation or a problem that's already occurring. Right? And so when we think about that, we have to provide that value. We're going to teach something and we're going to tell them, here's why this will make this easier for you. And we have to address the problem, right? If we're going to talk about fat loss, talk about, maybe the difficulty in staying consistent with any sort of health routine over the pandemic and changing up your routine and and your schedule. And we don't live this like crazy hustle life anymore, right? A lot of people are at home. A lot of people comfort ate, didn't get enough exercise in, gyms were closed. People didn't have access to things, right? And so we talk about it from that way. So that's what's going to happen on the feed is marketing. Now let's go to video and live, because I am going to cover each area just briefly, but this training is not to get into the weeds about, how we specifically use each and every single one, because we've been doing a lot of that, but just to kind of see where did they all fall. So let's talk about video and live video. And the feature here that's being noted is to teach and serve. In the chat, do you believe that this is more sales, marketing, or communication?
I'd say communication.
Juanita says communication, Peggy says marketing, Diane says comm. Communicate. My other Diane. Want to see a few more before I give you the answer? Annie on Facebook says communication. So the answer is marketing.
Oh my God.
This is going to mean a market. Teaching and serving is we are marketing. And so what I love about this too is that, even for those of you that said to communicate, tell me what was your thinking behind that? Juanita, what was your thinking behind, I think this is more communication?
Who? I didn't say nothing.
You guessed communication, right?
Who are we talking to?
You, Juanita.
Oh, I'm unmuted. I am so sorry. I was talking out loud. I'm so sorry.
I thought you were talking to me, girl.
Oh, that's okay. Because when I do a live, I'm trying to communicate with my audience. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't mean to talk.
Well, at least you weren't letting out burps and farts and saying how much you hate us all.
That's right. I wasn't.
You did none of that. So don't be embarrassed at all. Okay. So I think for, even like Juanita just said, she thinks about it as a way to connect with her customers and to be able to communicate via live and, via video. But it's important to remember that even though like connection is starting to establish, it's not true communication. I think this is important because if this is maybe how we perceive it, we think I've been working on developing relationships today because I did a Facebook Live. When in fact, like you've just started to create either the allure marketing, either the product or yourself. Even if you show up and you're like, my intention in this live is just to connect, right? I want them to get to know me. I want them to see my personality. I want them to see my mannerisms because I know people do business with people they want to be friends with. I know people do business with people they know, like, and trust. You're now marketing yourself, and that's going to pique someone's interest to go, wow, like Lindsay is, this type of person. If you guys couldn't talk to me right now, would you consider this communication with me today? Probably not, right? But you would be like, Lindsay's providing value and I'm getting to know more about her and her personality, which may make me want to connect. True connection would me being, to message Juanita after this and go, hey, Juanita, I saw that you were watching live. What was your biggest takeaway from our training today? Where do you think that you're struggling? Where do you want to improve most? Now, Juanita and I are in a conversation. And then how can that conversation turn to sales? Well, say Juanita says to me, Lindsay, I'm just all, I don't even know what to do for video. Well, Juanita, you got to come to my next training. Or Juanita, I have the perfect course for you. It's all about video. It's step by step. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in? Sounds like you're ready to get started on that course. Well, I think I am. Great. Mary Jo, yes. And we'll get there even more when we get to the DMs, but Mary Jo already hit it on the head. Communication is truly one-on-one. And so is, you'll see as we go through this, sales. There's going to be automation that we can do with sales. And it's why we use automated tools, for example, like Rapid Funnel, to create duplicable systems that can be passive, that work on our behalf. But just posting or doing a live is marketing. You're saying, here's why the product, here's why you should care about this topic, and here's why you should listen to me. And most of us stop there and we go on with our day and we hope and cross all our fingers and toes that somebody's going to message us or that somebody's going to buy from us. But you've stopped the process. All you've done is put the commercial up. But you didn't create a website that people can go to. You didn't create an opportunity for someone to come, visit you at the, come see us at my RV park. Come talk to me. My name's Bob. I'll show you the best RVs on the market today, right? It's come talk to me. Come into the store, because that's where the sales happen, with salespeople, right? Or with digital marketing systems. And so what I think happens for a lot of us when we think about social media is we get so down in the weeds of marketing and all the things we could be doing with marketing. When in fact, if you want to really boost your sales, is not to spend an entire day, which this will always help. You need to market to create interest, but you've been marketing. You've been doing all the things. Now is the time to follow up. If you want to make sales today, I don't need you to go create all this crazy content. I need you to go communicate one-on-one. I need you to go back to a Facebook Live that you maybe even did 2 months ago. And I want you to look at who commented on it and go, hey, this video randomly popped up for me today. And, I'm just as excited about this product now as I was then. And I remembered, or I saw that you had commented on it 2 months ago, that this was really interesting to you. And we haven't talked since then. I'm wondering, does this, what do you still think about this? Is this still a priority for you? Is it still a problem that you're having? The communication and the sales, that's where we get the sales. That's why social media, we have those 3 different areas. Marketing can lead to more communication and sales. Absolutely. It's an important step of the process. But so many of us only spend time marketing and we wonder, why aren't my sales going up? So video and live, those of you that said marketing, you are correct. Let's talk about Reels. So these are on Instagram. They're starting to make their way to Facebook. And this would also be very similar to TikTok. Okay. Intention here is to grow your following and entertain and serve. So the reason why it also says grow your following is that we know that short form vertical video, write that down, short form vertical video is currently doing the best for reaching new people. It has the best reach potential currently. Short form video, like Reels. These are meant to be, less than 60-second pack a punch sort of videos of marketing, sales, or communication. Which one do you think that this falls under? Jot that down. Marketing, says Mary Jo. Don't be afraid to be wrong, friends. Jerry says marketing. Calm from Peggy, marketing from Dave. It is marketing. Marketing. So again, This is to put ourselves out there. We know that getting the most amount of reach and visibility coming from short form video is marketing perspective. Now, and I want to address, because I think this is really important. So Peggy had mentioned, I don't understand Reels or TikTok. Here's my 2 thoughts on that right now. So Reels, if you're on Instagram, are one of the best strategies to use to find new people. But as we also just learned, it's a marketing strategy. And of the last 3 that we've done so far, all have been what? Marketing. You get to choose how you market. And if your intention first and foremost is for sales, I would rather all of you go, I'm not going to worry about learning how to do a Reel or TikTok today. There's other ways I can continue to market, but my number one thing is sales. How do I get in a communication with somebody so that I can get them into rapid funnel? So I can use my 2-step close I learned from Lindsay last week, which is, did you watch the video? It's awesome, right? What did you like best? They tell you, you shut up and listen. And then your only response back is, well, it sounds like you're ready to get started. And again, you shut up and you wait. You don't start talking. You don't start spiraling, right? Go watch that video if you didn't watch it from last week. Super good, right? But that's how we close a sale. And so what's interesting is we think, oh, in order for me to be successful, I need to know how to, use Instagram and use Reels and use TikTok. If you want to explode your marketing, then that's a goal you have, then I would, suggest playing around with it and starting small and just letting yourself, start to figure it out. But I'd say for most of us, where we're at with our business is, Lindsay, I want to make sales more than I want to learn how to do a reel. And if you're telling me that reels are meant to market and grow my audience, there's other ways that I can currently do that work for me, where there may be people that go, Lindsay's telling me that this is going to get me the most reach and I'm going to see the most potential leads. Awesome. That's what I'm going to do. But I can only also handle an influx of leads if I have what? The sales systems to support that. And so if in a day, your decision is, should I go spend some time on rapid funnel and get a bit more acquainted with that or practice closing versus should I go learn how to do a reel? What should we do? Go to the sales, go where the sales are. Get your processes down. If I held a major event and I attracted 1,000 people and I had all my products there, but I had no point of sale system, I had no way to go, I don't know, I don't take cash. I don't have a debit machine. You can't give me credit card. I don't take check. What's going to happen? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. We have to have the back end system and support ready to go. We have to be ready on a sales front in order to take on marketing on a larger scale. Now I'm going to skip DMs right this second, and I'm going to jump over to story. So stories on Facebook and stories on Instagram. So stories, these are our quick videos, right? I sometimes call them dirty videos. And I don't mean dirty inappropriate. I mean quick and dirty. I don't have to sit there and think about the content. It's just, let me hold up my phone. Let me talk real quick. Or, I'm making a True Health shake. Let me just take a picture of that real quick. I'm on a walk. There's a beautiful bird. Let me add that to my story real quick. There's no strategy or planning behind it. Let's say it's, let me just show you my day. Right. And that's something to always, really keep in mind, is that if I know also that my journey, my daily habits, my personal story sell better than abstract facts, I know that the shake I have every single morning is going to sell the shake when I put it in, or pique interest in my stories more than me just posting a graphic about it with the benefits of it. Because people go, oh, that looks delicious. What's in that? Right? Or, oh, I like, I've been meaning to start my morning with shakes, etc. We cleaned out our like vitamin. You guys would be so proud of me. I cleaned out I had 2 big like containers in my kitchen of all like vitamins and supplements and like this, that, and the other thing. And Derek and I went through it yesterday and we got rid of everything except our Manitech product. Because I'm like, okay, we got to just focus on what we're doing. Us using all these different things is like confusing us. We don't know when to use things when. And I had some additional things that I had been sent when I first started and then over time. And so I said to Derek, we had a thing of like a bag of OSP. And so I said to Derek, this is definitely something you should be taking every day. And he kept forgetting to take it. Like, he didn't make it a priority. And so I said, why don't you bring it to work? And his teammate in his office, he shares an office with another developer named Kai. And I said, why don't you bring it in and you ask Kai to do this with you? And you both take it every day. So you have some accountability. And now the last 2 weeks, his friend Kai has been taking OSP every day. And then Derek yesterday found the life sticks, the pink ones. I have a bit of pregnancy brain, so I'm forgetting some things. And when he saw them, he was like, do you actually mind if I take these into work too? Because I think Kai will also really like these. Like, I just thought it was hilarious because, again, like telling Derek, I'm like, we need to get rid of everything and focus on what we're doing because we had way too much stuff and we were overcomplicating everything to do with our health. We're like, so should we take Manipul? Should we take this? What about this vitamin C thing over here? And we have these magnesium pills. We have this and we have that. And we were just, Mary Jo said, I forget things too, but thank God it is not pregnancy brain. I had a dream actually last week. My mom told me she was pregnant. I was like, I don't know if that can biologically happen for you anymore, Mom. I called her and she was terrified. She was like, no, don't manifest that for me. But so I needed to simplify the process. And by being able to simplify and make things nice and easy, it made it easy enough for Derek, who knows nothing about Manitech, to be able to start talking about Manitech to somebody at work. And now they're both using a few of the products, right? And so when you share something like that, right? Like it could be, if I was a Manitech associate, I would have went live on Facebook. I've been like, all right, everyone, I'm cleaning out my supplement drawer. And I'm just going to chat with you guys while I do it. I need some accountability to stay focused. And I'm going to tell you why I'm getting rid of this stuff and why I'm keeping what I'm keeping. And some of it's going to be the benefits of like, because this is better than this and this is better quality than this. And it's like, do you know what? I really believe in this product. I believe that it is the best of the best out there, that this is truly what I need. I have to stop confusing myself. I have to stop adding 17 steps to my morning routine. I want like one thing I need to take. I need one thing I need to put in a shake, and that's it. Right? And there's going to be different conversations. Martha said, so you marketed to Derek. Yes. And do you know what's funny? I have Manipul, and he picked it up and he said, well, what's this? And I said, oh, that's one of their like most expensive products. Well, can I take this to work? I'm like, heck no. And I was like, that's staying with me. And guess what he does now every day? He uses it because he thinks like, well, this is the most expensive. So it makes him the most intrigued about it. A lot of us are afraid to even sell it because we're like, well, I'm too scared to bring up a price tag. But for some people, like Derek, it intrigues them. He's taking his health really, really seriously right now. So he's like, well, why wouldn't I want the best of the best? Why would I want to use something else like junky in our drawer? right? Like I want to keep this simple so I stay consistent, right? So those are things that was kind of an aside, but those are some things that we can talk about in our stories and why stories, and I don't mean Facebook stories, our personal stories sell more than abstract facts. Mary Jo said, so I'll post a quick video going to Hawaii in 1 week. And so every day is also lean and true shape. Yahoo, here comes that swimsuit and no beach whale comment. Yeah, talk about like, you know, when I'm on vacation, I want to make sure that I am experiencing the place that I'm at, but I'm still consistent with my health goals. And I can't bring an entire suitcase worth of additional, like, you know, big protein shakes and a Vitamix and all these other things. I need this to be able to travel with me. And that's why bringing True Shape and Also Lean is so easy and simple for me to be able to stay consistent, even when I'm in a beautiful place like Hawaii, and I am letting myself indulge in a few other things in the culture, in the cuisine, whatever. But it's like, I know I have to start my morning right. It's so simple to just throw in the bag, right? When we overcomplicate processes, right? If I said, so every time I go on vacation, I bring my Vitamix, I bring 2 tubs of protein, I bring, 16 supplements, I bring this, that, and the other thing. Does that seem like a realistic lifestyle for someone else to have? No, we're giving too much. We're overcomplicating. Just like when I word vomit a bunch of science at people that don't know anything about science, AKA most people, what do you think that they do? I barely had to tell, do you know what? I barely had to know anything about the product to be able to sell it to Derek. Because it was just, you know what? This stuff's junk. This stuff's best of the best, but you got to take it every day and got to be a bit accountable. Right? This is going to like benefit you. And he even said, he's like, the product aside, the act of taking the product has put me in a better mindset all day because I start my day with a healthy intention and it keeps me focused all day long. He's gone to the gym more often than he started taking things, Manatech products. He's started going to Aquafit with me to also want to spend more time with me. Like he's being more active and he's making better decisions with his food, with, like drinking water, because he started his day just by taking one supplement. Do you know how many people that's more effective than me telling Derek about like, okay, well, let me tell you about Manatech and let me tell you about the science, and it's Costa Rican aloe, and hold on, I have a video from Dr. Nugent, would you like to watch it? Derek would literally be like, Lindsay, I'm just gonna go take this product over here, because he would totally be like, stop talking to me, right? We talked about that last week, overselling something, over marketing, and how it can actually push people away. So stories, we're sharing what goes on in our day. We're sharing, little things about us. What do we think that is? Communication, marketing, or sales? The act of us sharing a story.
Communication.
What did someone say? It cut out. Diane says market. Mary Jo says communication. Jerry says market. Martha, market.
Alternate season. It's alternate season.
Okay, so we have a little bit of a tie right now, or a little bit of a tug and pull between communication and marketing. And I'm here to tell you, my friends, it is marketing. For the most part, it's marketing, but marketing can create what? Conversations. Little glimpses into what we're doing, into our day, are great ways to pique people's interest in what it is that we're up to, what we're doing. Marketing should create communication. And that's where I think too, like where our brains go when we think this is communication, because great marketing should create communication. It should create a conversation, right? Like if you see a really great ad on TV, it makes you want to like tell somebody else about it. Or, if you see something on social media, you start engaging. Love that, Martha. Martha said, so marketing is more like a broadcast. Yes. When you're putting out a message, one to many, you are marketing. Again, sales and communication and conversation can happen from it. So highlights. Highlights for those of you that are on Instagram. This is where you can, because your stories go away after 24 hours on both Facebook and Instagram. And that's why you can actually post every single day, you making your like Oso coffee, or you making your True Health shake, or whatever. You can do the same thing every single day, which is great because repetition is great. Dove uses the same commercial over and over again because they know that repetition and consistency is going to make you remember it. Right? And so it's okay to post the same thing over and over, and also because it goes away. On Instagram, you can create a highlight where your stories stay, and they act sort of as this, like, right before your feed, it'll have these like buttons and people can look at them. This is so that they can like learn more information, I would say, or watch some past things that you've done. So some content, I would say it essentially ends up operating more like a feed post. And this would be to showcase what it is that you are about. So anytime that you're trying to showcase, hey, like almost like a about or get to know me page, what do we think that is? Marketing, communication, or sales? Yes, Mary Jo said, so communication not directed at a specific person, but a broad group is marketing, right? Yes. And the best marketing does create those conversations that happen in the comment section, and that can help you create conversations one-on-one. For example, I got a DM today, which I'm like, oh, that's a good example now that I'm thinking about it. And where is he? He's in my message requests. So there was somebody who on Instagram, he's a coach and he does like automated coaching systems, and an ad of his popped up in my feed, and I don't really remember it. And this is also important. I don't remember his name. I don't remember seeing his post, but I must have engaged with it because he sent me a message that said, hey, Lindsay, saw you recently interacted with one of my ads here on Instagram, and I noticed you're also a coach. What systems are you having most trouble with in coaching? And so what's interesting here is the marketing that happened pulled me in enough to engage with the post. And guess what? Probably 10 minutes later, I couldn't even tell you his name. I don't know. I'm scrolling. I'm on social media. I'm not here being like, I am going to buy something today. Let me think very slowly about every post I see. No, I'm like going pee and I'm just scrolling my phone while I'm passing the time, or I'm waiting in the car, in wherever. I'm just mindlessly being on social media. And things intrigue me, but I don't remember how to go back to them. There's so many times I've seen a product or something where I'm like, oh, what company was that? What person was that? And I have no idea. But he put out marketing I engaged with, and then he created a conversation. And if we go down to DMs now, which is direct messages or personal messages, which are used to create relationships and sell, of marketing, communication, and sales, and hint, it uses 2 out of 3 of them. Which one is it used for? Is it marketing and communication, marketing and sales, communication and sales? What do we think it is? Common sales. Yeah. Absolutely. And so what we can see is even by highlighting, 2, 4, 6 areas and features, 5 of the 6 are marketing. And one of the 6 is true communication and sales. And how many of you, on reflecting now that you've like kind of processed some of this, feel like, well, hot dog, I have done a lot of marketing and been real irritated that I have no communication and sales happening, but I have not utilized or created opportunities for that. I have not followed up. I have not been DMing people. I have not made it intentional to create relationships and conversation and get people into Rapid Funnel. Your goal should not be to market to get a sale. Your goal should be to market to get a lead that you put into Rapid Funnel that does the work for you. Right? Just posting an awesome video or an awesome graphic is not going to grow your bank account or your business. What is? Communication. And like Mary Jo said, marketing is king. It's so incredibly important that we put this out there, because if you didn't put any marketing out there and you just started DMing people, right? Then where it's almost like we're the guy that opens up the jacket with all the pocket watches inside, like, hey, you want to watch? Like, it's so jarring. It's like, no, I don't. Like, why are you talking to me? If we just approached people without marketing and creating opportunity and showcasing ourselves and presenting ourselves, then it can feel jarring. And so we have to use both of them. So Jerry said, what's the difference between PM and DM? Nothing. It's just 2 different ways to say the same thing: personal message or direct message. On Facebook, they use personal message as a term for messenger. And on Instagram, we call them more DMs, which are direct messages. Because at one point, Instagram was owned by Instagram, right? And Facebook was owned by Facebook. Then Facebook bought Instagram. So Instagram used to not be owned by Facebook. Now it is. And so when Instagram started, they called it a DM to differentiate themselves, right? Like it was just different language. This is called a direct message, not a private message or a personal message. And so Jerry said, do you ask people to DM or PM on a post? Yes. So in your marketing, when we look at how do I lead people, we lead people through a few different ways. One, the content and the value has to be so engaging and so valuable that it just intuitively creates conversation. Or we include a call to action, and making sure you have calls to actions on your posts are vital. DM me for more, comment below, go check this. Like, if you're going to post maybe like a link to Rapid Funnel, like if you want to know more, click this link here and drop in your info. I'll send it to you personally. Right? There's automation that can even be done. And this is something that we can also talk about in a training, is automation on Facebook and automation on Instagram. You can use platforms like ManyChat and different Instagram bot and I don't mean bot like paid, I mean bot like robot automation, where I can put up a post, right? And it says, if you want to know more, if you want to be invited to this, DM me the word opportunity. And they'll send me a message, and a whole sales system similar to Rapid Funnel, like that I've created, will talk to them in Instagram. And I don't even have to be there. It's just going to ask them automated questions and create an automated conversation, because I know that conversations are what sells. It's why automation exists. It's why Rapid Funnel has been so amazing for so many of you. Marketing finds you leads, and you have to then move people into the conversation, which is going to sell. And if you did not watch last week's training about the 2-step close, go watch that, because it's going to help you because even there was a question that went up in, I think it was in North America yesterday, and someone said, I'm having a hard time getting the final close to happen. Right? I can get them interested, but then I lose them. And I'm telling you that you're probably talking way too much and you're doing too much, and it's pushing people away. So go watch that. Mary Jo said, why not challenge every one of us to submit a video clip marketing and review those next week? Love that. Okay, so I would love for you guys to come next week with a piece of marketing, whether it be a video or it can just be a post. Video is though king. We know that social media wants video more than anything. And it also shows your face and your personality. So it's a double whammy right there. We know it's going to build that likability more than anything. It could be something, a live that you do this week and you want to link back to. But let's look at some of those things. Because like I said last week, coming to these Saturday trainings is not you getting the check mark. The check mark is doing the actions. You may go, I understand social media so much more now. Awesome. And then go on your merry way. This is not going to happen. You're not going to become successful through osmosis. You are not plants standing in the sun, right? You have to do the work. You have to till the soil. You have to plant and water the seeds and make sure everything gets done. And as you can see, sometimes it's just small action steps. These aren't massive things. So the replay will be on the training.manatech.com and also in the Manatech North America group as well. And it's just the last one we did. I have to update some of the titles. I'll do that this week, but it's last week's that we did on the 2-step close. Okay. So I know this, you know, like I prefaced it with, this is going to be a bit more of like a simple training in the sense that we weren't getting into the weeds, but do we all feel like a little light bulb went off for us today of like, okay, I'm understanding how to use some of these areas, maybe why some things haven't been working, and you know why I haven't really gotten the sales or been able to close people. Amazing. I'm so glad. So I'll post this graphic for you guys right now in the group. And so you guys can look at that. And I would, you know, keep checking on this and go, okay, 5 out of 6 are marketing. And 1 of the 6 are sales and communication. So if your goal, even, you know, I want to see a marketing piece from you by next week. Okay. And don't overthink it. Just do it. Even if I'm reviewing it, I'd rather you come and like completely bombed it than not come at all. Because guess what? You coming and me saying, okay, do you know what? This was great attempt, but let's talk about what didn't work. You are going to learn more from that conversation with me, which people also pay a lot of money for, to have those kind of conversations with me, versus going, I'm not ready for Lindsay to see something because it's not perfect. I'm telling you, it's not going to be perfect ever. You're always going to be learning. You're always going to be adjusting and tweaking. So stop overthinking it. Just do something. Just bring something to the table. So focus on that. And then when you have your sales goals and you're like, I'm going to put my sales hat on right now. I'm not having my marketing hat on. I have my sales hat on right now. Is that when you should go make a video? Nope. It's when you should go what? Have conversations, because conversations lead to sales. Belly to belly, like you've all done the business for so long. It's why I'm saying social media tool, not a separate strategy. You guys know how to sell belly to belly. So just do it, but just through DMs and personal messages. As Nike says, just do it, says Mary Jo. The quote Mary Jo quoting Nike. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing Saturday. Thank you guys so much for being here. Our trainings now are going to continue to be more action-based and things like that. So lots of fun stuff coming up in the next little while. And even though I'm having a baby in the next 3 months, you guys are still going to continue to get training from me. So don't worry about that. You won't be losing me when my child manifests itself into the real world. All right. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. And yeah, thanks for coming by today.
Thank you.
You're welcome.